Were you guys like friends until the day you filed the lawsuit, or did something go wrong between you guys?
No, nothing went wrong.
When did things go sour between you two?
It hasn't really. They still ask me to, hey, you want to hang out? You want to,
So were you kind of surprised that you were being sued? Or did they tell you we're going to sue you?
These are the plaintiffs, Christina and Jack Morose. Christina says the defendant is their neighbor, and she agreed to sell some surplus ink cartridges for them, and they were going to give her 30% of the profit. When they asked for their money minus the 30%, the woman claimed the ink cartridges were a gift to her. She refuses to give them the $4,200 she owes them, and they're here today in court suing her for it. This is the defendant, Jennifer Reisler. She says Jack gave her the cartridges, and when she asked him how much of a cut he wanted, he told her, don't worry about it. He had a very good job at the time, and figured he was just being nice and generous. Now, out of the blue, once the plaintiff saw she put the cartridges on eBay for sale, they asked her for the money? Huh? A gift is a gift. She's accused of staining a friendship. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,179.48 for all she's out.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. You folks live next door to each other, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
All right. You're living with someone's parent who's
My mother.
your mother?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
For about 1.5 years now.
Okay. Children?
Yes.
How many?
1.
All right. You become friends with her when you move in?
Yes, we've known of her prior, a little bit here and there. And
Because
then,
they've been neighbors how long?
about 13 years. My mom lived there, but she moved in after, I'm not sure how many years after.
How long have you lived there?
We've lived there almost 5 years.
Okay. And who do you live there with?
I lived there with one of my sisters.
Okay. So at some point in time, according to you, $4,200 worth of ink cartridges go from there to here. And the crux of this lawsuit is, was it a gift or was it a business transaction and you're owed money for it? Where did $4,200 worth of ink cartridges come from?
So I worked for a company, and they were upgrading their printers, so they didn't need the use of those. That they told me to remove
They
them
had $5,000 worth of ink just sitting there that they hadn't used, and that's when they decide to. So they have a back storage stockpile of $5,000 of ink?
Yep. And my work order was to get rid of these ink cartridges, and I picked them up, and they approved of me to either get rid of them or, dispose of them in my own use, so my own way. So I held on to them and gave them to Jenny to sell on eBay since she's a top
tell me
seller.
how that conversation, tell me what happens in that conversation.
Okay, so Christina comes up to me and suggests that I, have Jenny sell these ink cartridges for us since she's a top seller on eBay. So I didn't have an eBay account, so I spoke with Jenny, dropped off the cartridges, and told her I'll give you a percentage if you sell the cartridges.
What was the percentage?
It was 30%, and the cartridges are worth brand new. These are not even out of the package or nothing. Worth over $180.
Who spends $100? Are these home? They're
not home cartridges.
Right.
They're commercial.
Yeah. Who's going to buy cartridges from a private party on eBay?
Yeah.
And some of these were expired also, right?
Yeah, but
so
still,
how do you come up with this value?
Through other cartridges that are similar on eBay.
Are those expired?
Yes. Yes, and they also sell the refills as well that aren't even Canon brand for $124.
Well, that's not your item, though, is it?
That's not correct.
Right. Okay. So according to you, the figure 30% is specifically discussed.
Yes.
Do you have any evidence that she's let me ask you, what's your version of this story?
We've been neighbors for 5 years, not 13. They have lived there for longer than a year and a half. In any case, often, it's like if I am getting rid of something I don't need anymore, I'll offer it to them and vice versa. We're always giving things back and forth. So I'm on disability, and it's hard to live in the Bay Area on $1,200 a month, so I'm always looking for ways to supplement my income. So they knew about that. Now, I'd done so many favors for them, helping them out and just, taking care of things, giving them a lot of things. I mean, it was
Like
much
what?
more one way. I said, I helped them out in situations.
Like what?
Like, well, there was the time when they're staying with her mother, who really does not want them there, and has she's a very loud person for the slightest infraction. So she was out of town.
I could see from the corner of my eye that he's not. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. She has I mean, she will start, if the garbage cans aren't lined up perfectly, she'll start at 9 and
Well,
take
it's
to
her
16.
house.
Yes,
Okay.
but
Or
I mean,
anyway.
it's just so loud. And I'm like, quiet. You can hear her through the closed windows. Anyway, so she was on her way back home from being out of town, and Jack broke her TV set. Now, they would have instantly been evicted. They were in hysterics. They were just like, oh my God, we're going to be homeless. She's going to throw us out. And I'm like, I can't live with that volume of screaming. So I'm like, where'd she get the TV? Costco. So I grabbed Jack. I raced him down to Costco. I bought a replacement TV. We swapped it out. Mom came home, none the wiser.
Oh my gosh, well, she's going to be wiser now. All right, and this was how long ago?
Probably 8 months, maybe.
Okay, and then
ago,
what was the
last year.
conversation you had with him about? Is he supposed to pay you back for that? Or
I mean, it was just so quick. I'm like, we didn't really discuss it pre.
Okay,
I'm just
so
like,
no
I can't
discussion,
take the
and
screen.
then- so the
So we
TV's
got back.
right.
I'm sorry. So we got back, and they were both like, oh my God, thank you so much. We'll pay you back as soon as we can. We'll just, thank you. We'll do anything you want to say thanks. And I'm like, I have a palm tree that needs to be trimmed, and I have a bad back. And I asked, well, can you help me trim it? Just a few fronds a week. And he's like, sure.
forever?
No, just a few until they were done. I mean,
Oh, okay.
So just, if you can just clip off a few a week. And he's like, sure. The very next day, his back hurt too bad to do it. And I guess has since then, even though he works on cars constantly. So, I mean, the trimming the tree was to be a thank you, and they've
Okay.
never paid me a penny back for the TV.
Right. Now, tell me about the cartridges.
Okay. So this was previous to that. Like I said, been the back and forth thing, and Jack kept mentioning these cartridges he had. And he kept delaying, bringing them, and delaying. And
Yeah,
finally
but
one
what
day,
was it he was mentioning?
the cartridge. He said, "We got this big bunch of cartridges from my former job. The box was damaged, and they threw them out." I'm like, "Why would the cartridges are perfect, but the outer box was damaged?" There was also a few rolls of photo paper that were clearly damaged, but the rolls are damaged, but not the ink. And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, bring them over." So he's like, "Here you go." And I said, okay, fine. I'm like, I'll sell them. I go, what percentage do you want? He's like, oh, I don't want any percentage. This is all for you. I really stood out because I'm like, you've got a good job, but who doesn't want a cut of $4,000? And he's like, nope, this is just all
I
for
think
you.
y'all are vastly
And-
exaggerating how much money these things are worth.
Exactly. So I was really surprised about that. And he kept going on about how the gold in the cartridges was more valuable than the cartridges themselves. And so if the case is that I was supposed to sell them and give him a cut and he wanted the money, why didn't he just yank off the strips and sell them for more money? I mean, selling on eBay is a lot of work. So if he was just
Are you
interested-
saying he never said, I want 30%? Wait,
No.
who was getting the 30 and who was getting the 70?
She was getting the 30%.
Oh, are you saying he never said, I want 70%?
No, he says, sell them. He goes, do whatever you
So
want.
what has happened? How many have you sold?
It turns out half of them have been expired, and we've had a lot of very intense family situations going on my side, and I just actually have not gotten to the point of selling them because
How many have been sold?
none have been sold.
Zero have been
They are
sold.
not as valuable as they say.
Where are all those cartridges now?
They're in my house.
And you wanted to submit some evidence to me to prove that was she present when he gave you the cartridges?
No, there was no one present. It was he and I. That was it.
When did that occur?
I'm not sure the exact date, but it's been at least over a year.
Is that accurate? Has it been over a year?
It's been over
Yes,
a
ma'am.
year. She's been
Why did you decide to sue now?
Well, we gave her time. Every time we would see her, we asked about the cartridges through the year. Didn't want to put pressure on her because she always would get all agile and, sensitive about it.
Agitated, not
yeah,
agile.
agitated, sorry.
That's right. Did she ever, see, I'm just kind of wondering, were you guys like friends until the day you filed the lawsuit, or did something go wrong between you guys?
No, nothing went wrong.
When did things go sour between you two?
It hasn't really. They still ask me to, hey, you want to hang out? You want to,
So were you kind of surprised that you were being sued? Or
I
did they
was
tell
not-
you we're going to sue you?
They mention it off and on. They've always make vague, mumbly threats.
Why
type
didn't you just
things.
return the stupid cartridges since they're worthless?
Because they were given to me, and why should I?
Yeah, but why, if you listen to me, if they have no value, you're not able to sell them, and they have no value. I'm just curious why someone who's a next door neighbor doesn't just say, I don't want anything to do with this, and just.
They do have some value, just not as near as much as they are claiming.
I'm going to ask you another time. Have you sold any of them?
No, I have not.
What is it you want to testify to about conduct between you and Jack in the ensuing months that you think proves that he gave it to you? Go ahead.
All right. Well, all I know is if somebody was suing me for $4,200, I wouldn't give them more stuff. I collect bike parts for a charity that teaches kids to fix up bikes. So 1 week ago, he comes over, I've got this frame. The frame alone is worth $1,200. And I'm like, okay, what percentage do you want if I can sell it? And he's like, no, this is all for you. Don't worry about it. So I'm of the thinking that if I thought someone owed me that much money, I wouldn't say, here's something even more valuable. It doesn't make...
So you want to address that?
I was gonna build a bike for my wife because I, believe in exercise and riding, and things like that. Mother-in-law didn't want the bike parts around, and she's flipping out. She's moving to Arkansas, apparently. But so she came up to me, said, "Hey, I got some parts." She said she's working on some art project with bicycles. I'm like, "Here, you can have these," because I had some.
But that is kind of strange if you feel like she's a thief. That's,
I always try to let things go in certain ways, and addressing certain things. I just said, "Hey, you can have it." I obtained that, got that frame. It was generally for Christina, but I decided to give it to her.
Do you guys have any text that you want to show me that might prove whether or not this was, hey, take the cartridges, or whether it was you'll get 30%, we'll get 70%? Do you have any text back and forth, either of you?
I do, I believe. Yes, I can.
May I see it? Mm-hmm. And can you tell me what would be the reason then that they're suing you if it was a gift? What do they, if everybody's still on speaking terms and everything, what is going on?
We're still in speaking terms because it's better to keep the peace.
No, but what you guys were really, you were kind of close. So if I gave you a gift, why do I turn around and sue you a year later?
That's what I don't understand.
So one potential reason is that there's been a problem between you, but you're saying no, that didn't
the problem
happen.
is he used to have a good job. He does not now. They need money. So Jenny's a sucker. She'll give it back.
So on September 18th, there is a text. And she mentions something about a landlord having taken some paintbrushes and paints, and you say, well, that sucks. And she says, it does suck when people take advantage of someone's trust by doing what's right. What else that really sucks is waiting on those cartridges we gave you a year ago to sell for us on eBay for $50. Unfortunately, they are way more expired now, so we need them back because I have a buyer to send them to for less money, but we will take another loss. I will appreciate to get those by today because we asked you for weeks now. We have to ship 42 of them by tomorrow. Thank you. See you soon. And your answer is not, what are you talking about? This was a gift. Your answer is, I put them on eBay this morning. Why isn't your answer, what are you talking about? This was a gift.
Because we've been going on about this endlessly.
But what? That doesn't answer me.
Well,
if someone tells you, you know what else? It really sucks when you take advantage of me. I gave you these to sell on eBay, and you still haven't, so return them. Your answer is, you did not. You gave them to me because you gave them to me because they're a gift. Instead, your answer is kind of like, give me more time. I put them on eBay this morning. It's okay, she says. We just want them back. We have someone who will buy all of them. And your answer is a set of 18 just sold for almost $600 and they were expired. A set of 18 sold for almost $600 on whose site?
eBay.
On yours?
No. Wait, when you sell...
Okay, I will give it a week to see if any bites. Then she also says, yeah, it looks like they're going for $89 each and those are compatible, blah, blah, blah. blah, 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 7 each. I was looking into it more, noticed some are going for $32, but this will take a while to sell them. I'm just thinking to take the cut and sell them in bulk to the buyer I have. And then she calls you, and then she calls you again, and she calls you again. You say you were working in the yard. She says she's coming over. We're putting up Halloween decorations. No, this is another day. She says, hey, come over. We're putting up Halloween decorations.
It's like, give me money, you thief, and let's hang. It's back and
I
forth.
don't know what you're saying. You are a thief. I just read to you stuff that made it sound like this wasn't a gift. So that would also make you a perjurer. So I'm not sure where you're getting indignant. Stop. September 28th, if it's not too much to ask, could I stop by for the bottle of wine I forgot to ask for? What's that about?
Oh, I trimmed some of her hedges or bushes around her property on her tree that were overgrown
And
for her.
she said,
and she agreed to give me a bottle of wine.
I know you have a lot going on. I'm sure it slipped your mind. Okay, well, I could stop by to say hi, or if you want to be alone, it's understandable. Business and friendship are separate. Why did you say that?
Because, I mean, I would just believe in live and let live. And, you know, if I don't want any kind of issue or drama and, you know, or fighting, we're neighbors.
When did you file the lawsuit?
Last year, finally. When
It was in December. Or
No, December.
It was maybe
Okay, because in
January.
October, you're like, she's giving your kid toys, and you're saying,
yeah,
come
I mean,
over.
We're
and
still. I mean, you know, I just don't believe in. You know, that's separate. If you feel that we gave you something and you can have your day in court and tell your
okay,
side.
now this is
but-
really interesting. It's 1:07 a.m. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock.
Okay.
How's it going? What are you up to? Searching Craigslist for free stuff. Oh, I do that all the time. I was wondering if you want to chill. Okay, yeah, how early? Wondering if you could have a cocktail. I haven't seen you in a minute. She says, sure, be there in a few. Then the next morning, I think you accidentally sent her a text intended for someone else.
I did.
Yeah. Who
do
did you
that.
intend to send that to?
My sister.
And instead you sent it to Jenny saying, Jenny was so all up, you're on your nuts, LOL, hella standoffish to me, so rude. I wanted to go ransack her house for our TV and cartridges and whatever else I wanted, stupid. Okay.
Oops.
So, oops. When you wrote LOL, did you realize what you'd done and you were trying to make a joke of it? Or did you write that to your sister too?
I wrote that to my
So then
sister.
she answers, nice to know how you really feel. For the record, I wasn't being standoffish. You were arguing with each other and asking me questions at the same time. I was exhausted and trying to cook. I can only handle so much input and volume at the same time. FYI, 9 out of 10 dentists do not recommend trying to ransack the house of someone who is microns away from completely losing her blank. But you're right, I suck. Wow. What'd you do when you realized what you'd done? This was October. What'd you do?
I laughed because then now she knows how I really feel about it. Because
Did you go over and apologize or do anything? Or
No,
because I mean, you're trying to have a drink with her the night before at 1 a.m.
Because
so,
I'm a nice person. I'm not going to get like
no.
demanding
No,
or
yeah,
anything.
You're not making
And
any sense.
I don't want any kind
You're
of
not
drama.
making any sense. You accidentally sent her a text. You
Right.
never intended for her eyes. So what do? You just ignore everything? And what'd you do?
No, I just.
What? No, I don't want to hear from you. What? What'd you do?
Pretty much. I just said, oh, she probably won't speak to me again. But
So
that's
that was
okay.
it?
Maybe she gets the point across and gives
But
us our
then
cartridges
sometime in
back.
January, you say,
And
can I
TV.
come over and buy a few smokes? And she says, sure. What happened?
I bought a few smokes from her.
How many cartridges were there?
42.
So that you should have 42 in your possession, correct?
Oh, yes, I do.
As to your lawsuit against your neighbor, I am ordering you to
This is
return
this one?
the boxes of cartridges.
Okay.
Okay? That's what I
And
believe
these
that
ones.
the evidence I can see does not really support the idea that there was never supposed to be a business deal. I don't see your reaction after she says, we gave this to you a year ago, you're supposed to sell them, this is you taking advantage of us. If it was a gift, that would have been your response. It would not have been this. And so I find that this business deal has gone bad, and that the thing to do is to put you in the position that you were in beforehand. I'm not going to arbitrarily set an amount for the cartridges. I am giving you a court order to go ahead and give them the boxes of cartridges because you've sworn to me under oath that You haven't sold any of them, so 42 cartridges are going to go back. That's going to take care of the cartridges. Now let's talk about the counterclaim. We've talked about the TV on your countersuit. Interestingly, you want $219.48 for the TV, $35 for your time and mileage to get the TV, and $25 interest on the TV. What's that?
Because I put it on my credit card and they've never paid me back. And so there was interest.
Yeah, but even you admit that there was no time to discuss payment, and then you said, it's fine, just trim my tree, so...
No, I didn't say, I said, I know it's going to take you a long time
All right.
to pay me back. In the meantime,
You're suing for
trim
the tree trimming. I can only enforce a legal obligation. That's what I can enforce. If you want to do something great for them and run out and get a TV before anybody gets in trouble because, whatever it is, that's great. Were you supposed to trim stuff?
No, that was done as a favor. I had given
Wait,
her,
did you do it? Because she says you didn't do it.
I started on getting most of them cut, but I didn't have a long enough reach to cut them.
Right, but what did she say? Do that for me and we're even with the TV?
No, it was done as a favor.
It was done as a favor with what timing?
Within the same week.
Did she buy the TV knowing you would do it?
She
Or
got the
it came
TV
later?
as a collateral. I had another TV that I switched out for that TV as collateral, which is actually a way
Now I
better
have
television.
no idea what you're talking about.
It was a swap.
It was a swap, pretty
So,
much.
May I say
Yeah.
something? Okay, so it's from Costco. My mom had a warranty on the TV, so we could have went and did it ourselves. My mom was out of town. Okay, she had a Costco card, so she swooped in to try to rescue the day. And
Did you make a claim on the warranty?
And so she went and purchased another
Yes, I
TV
know.
and to swap out the other one.
Yes, I
that's
know.
her fault if she doesn't return the other one.
Well, that's not her warranty. She can't do it. That's
No,
your fault.
But she purchased it, so it would be under her warranty.
Oh, so she's supposed to lie?
No,
I
no,
see.
no.
I mean,
No,
that's
I've
what
got it.
she-
I've got
No,
it.
that's not what she
She's
said.
That's what
supposed
she
to
was
buy a
gonna
TV
do.
that has a warranty
she
on it,
said it all wrong.
and then she's supposed to take the TV your husband broke and pretend it's the
that I
TV
broke
she
it.
just bought and claim the warranty. I know that's so normal conduct for you
Can I
that
say
you
something?
actually said that out loud in my courtroom.
Hey, can I
I
say
mean,
something? Can I
So
say
then,
something?
what warranty could she?
You're dumb, babe.
Okay, because my mom has the receipt.
How could she
So-
go? Why should she?
She
then?
went out of her own recognizance
Will
to
you
purchase.
stop that? You're using
She's
the wrong
one
words. It's
who
not
wanted
recognizant.
to-
Of her own
She's the one who
volition.
said that.
Listen to me. Look at me. I
Not
need you to
me.
listen. Listen to me. Listen
Yes,
to me.
ma'am.
You just suggested that she could go because
I didn't
it's her Costco card. That's on her that she didn't do that because we swapped it out. You are literally suggesting to me that it is on her to take a broken TV she didn't buy and enforce a warranty that didn't happen because her warranty is on the new TV that's perfect. So the warranty that your mother has, your mother would have to assert. She cannot
Correct.
assert. Okay.
Correct, but
Can I say
that was
something,
what
Del?
she was going to do. I didn't tell her to do that.
Okay.
That's what something she mentioned.
Hey, can I
that she
say
was
Yeah,
going
something?
no,
to
it
do.
just gets better.
Can I say something?
So-
No, I don't want to hear from anybody else at all
Babe,
about
okay.
anything more. How's that?
Ridiculous. That's not.
That includes you. You need to be escorted out?
No, no.
If I just said I don't want to hear from you, what are you doing mumbling under your breath? Get out. Get him out. Just have him go.
That's it. Just right to the camera.
I ruled on their claim against you. On you're going to return it. I find that, it wasn't a gift. Even if there was some confusion over it, I find that legally it wasn't a gift. Now, on your counterclaim against them, when you run out and do something nice, you can't then impose a contract and say, well, Judge, they need to pay me back now because tit for tat since they're now suing me. That's not how it works. You don't get your time, you don't get mileage to get the TV, you don't get interest. I don't even know what that is. On the tree trimming, even according to your testimony, that is something that comes up afterwards as, hey, you want to be nice back? Do this. That's also not a contract. It's not like you said, all right, I'll go to Costco, I'll get you that TV if you trim my trees. Then it's a quid pro quo. That's not what's going on here. That's also, it would be nice if he did it, but that's also not enforceable. On your counterclaim against them, 0. On their claim against you, I am ordering you to return the 42 boxes of cartridges. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
But the TV.
So neither party wins their lawsuit here. The one thing determined is that you, the defendant, Ms. Rousler, you've got to give the cartridges back. You know, you could have saved all this court case had you done that before.
Well, the thing is they were a gift. And then they started insisting they wanted money back just to keep the piece. I said, okay, if I'll sell them, I'll give you a cut. And then suddenly they want everything. And the cartridges were not worth what they're claiming to begin with.
It's giving them back to them.
Because it's not the right thing. I've given and done them
not?
so much. Why do I have to just keep giving and
Well,
giving
you
and
ended up
giving?
in court.
Well, you know.
What happens now? You think the friendship with them is still okay?
I
Off
really
and
don't know
on?
what this. It's 1 minute they're happy. Oh my God, everything's written. Next minute I'm going to ransack your house, and and then next 5 minutes later they're like,
right.
let's hang out.
Thank you, ma'am. That's the way it works. You will give the cartridges back. Miss Morose, you're on your way out of your court. Your husband obviously was ejected from the courtroom. He's outside. I don't know what he's thinking. What are you thinking about all this?
I think everything was a fair decision. All we want is our cartridges back.
Okay. Thank you very much. You get the cartridges back. Maybe that'll end this
Thank
for
you so much.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Harvey?
Well, Doug, look, bartering is really tricky because, what each side wants is kind of equal value, and disputes erupt when they're not equal, or there's a perception they're not equal. So get it in writing, especially barter. Get it in writing. We have another legal question, I believe, David.
Yep. Question from the Big Apple, New York City. Here it is.
Hey, Harvey. Thanks for taking my question. We're big fans of the show here in New York City. So my question is, I bought something on eBay and I never received it, even though the seller said he sent it. Now he's blaming the coronavirus, and I'd like to sue him. Can I sue him if I'm in New York and he's in a different state? Thanks again. Be well.
So look, I'm going to be real with you for a second. This is uncharted territory with COVID. And my dogs think so too, by the way. So it is uncharted territory because it is unclear what people have to do to follow through with a contract if it's virtually impossible to do because of the virus and things being shut down. So it is uncharted territory. I cannot give you a definitive answer. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case, stop it on their way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Bruce Revis. He says he has a nasty neighbor who refuses to maintain his gigantic tree which hangs over his property. The defendant has ignored his requests to trim the tree because the leaves fall on the roof of his garage. Now he needs a new roof. He's tired of putting up with this guy's antics and is finally suing him here and now in this court for the $5,000 he's most definitely owed for roof repairs. This is the defendant, Edward Sarnacki. He says there are many huge trees which hang over their properties, and there's no way the plaintiff can pin the damage to his roof on this tree in particular. There's no way to determine which leaves are from his tree and which are not, and the plaintiff can scream at him and jump up and down all he wants, but he's not paying for a new roof. He's accused of tree troubles.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's tree branches are hanging over onto his property, and also the leaves have damaged his garage roof. The defendant says leaves come from everywhere, and you just can't blame his tree, and he certainly isn't paying for a new roof. It's the case of leave me alone.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, now you own a property and he owns a property behind yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what seems to be the problem?
The problem is that he has two trees inside of his yard.
Okay.
And one of them is extremely large. It's growing so large that it's knocked his fence down. And it overhangs my garage roof, and it overhangs several houses next to mine.
You mean the branches do?
Yes, his branches do.
Okay.
And it drops leaves all over my garage roof,
okay,
which has blocked my drain and causes puddles. So in 2014...
Do you clean the leaves off?
Well, I used to get up there when I could, but I've recently had my right foot amputated and part of my left. So I can't get up there. I mean, for years I cleaned. I never said anything. I used to get out and clean the back, but I'm unable to at this time. So in 2014... I had somebody go up and fix the roof, and we paid them $1,200 to fix the roof, and I contacted him at that time I didn't document the conversation, but I alerted him, look, I fixed this roof. Could you please keep your tree trimmed so I don't have this reoccurring problem? And I guess he said, okay. I really can't recall the conversation. So here we are in 2018. Now, I hadn't gone out on the roof and didn't have anybody check it because I was going through my health issues, where I was in and out of the hospital. I was in a nursing home for a while, unable to walk or do anything. And then I had to have some work done on the house. I had to have the roof done on my main house. So I had to have some work done on the house. And I had a roofer go up on my house. And he looked over the roof and he said, man, your garage roof is covered with leaves and there's water. And I said, well, can you take a picture and bring it down and show me? Because I couldn't even walk up the steps at that point. I had just come home.
This first picture that I see here, this is a picture of his tree?
That's the small tree. That's his second tree.
Did you go onto his property to take this picture?
No, I didn't have to. I was in the alleyway. I'm in the alleyway. There's a fence there. It's a row house. So I could walk out of my house and there's my garage and I walk down the alleyway and his house is over here.
Okay.
Cat corner to my house.
What's this a picture of?
That's a picture also of the leaves of that tree that you just saw overhanging.
What's this a picture of?
That's a picture of the big tree. Now I'm standing right next to my garage now, taking a picture over his fence, which is falling down because of that tree.
What is this a picture of?
Now, I'm in the alleyway again next to my garage, taking pictures of his tree up high where it's overhanging into 3 or 4 houses over there. Now, that's where my house is located, and you can see his tree is overhanging my garage.
That's your garage, the brick building?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is the tree? Anybody got a clue? It's very large. How old is it? How tall is this?
The tree without the leaves, Your Honor?
How tall is it?
About 3 stories high.
Yeah, right? It's a big tree.
Feet.
It's been around a while. What's this a picture of?
Now, that's a picture of my garage, and if you look over in the corner where that ladder is located, his neighbor also had, his branches were overhanging my garage. So I asked that neighbor the same day as I spoke to him to please trim your tree, and the next week he went and got his tree trimmed.
That's very nice of him.
Yeah. And he gave me a statement also that I spoke to him, not mentioning him, but at the same time.
I don't need that. That doesn't prove
ma'am.
anything in our case. All right, so what is this a picture of?
That's the tree that was trimmed from his
the
next door neighbor.
Okay.
That's a picture of his tree from my yard. Now, I'm standing right under the garage showing how his tree overhangs my garage. I'm standing in the alleyway. And that's his other tree overhanging. That's a picture of the tree, how it's grown out of his yard, through his fence, and it's ripping up the cement in the alleyway.
This isn't something that happened yesterday. This is something that has been growing that way for how many years?
20 years.
How long have you lived there?
I don't actually live there. It's a triplex.
Okay, so you own it and you rent it out?
Yes,
How long ago did you buy it?
46 years ago.
Okay, so do you remember when the tree broke through the fence or not really?
The tree originated in the alley. The tree grew into my yard. It didn't grow out of my yard. I never planted that tree.
Okay. So did he ask you nicely, hey, trim your tree?
In the second, what I believe to be the second phone call, he demanded that I trim the tree. And I suggested that while his roofer was on the roof fixing it, he cut back the branches that were overhanging his garage.
Right.
As these pictures indicate, there are only small branches overhanging the garage.
Okay.
The tree on my property that I planted, the first photograph that you saw, is a holly tree, which is considered an evergreen, which doesn't drop that tree. It doesn't drop its leaves every year. 2 photographs later, you'll see the leaves are still there with the berries, the Christmas berries on it.
Right.
So,
can I ask you a question? Why don't you just hire somebody and cut back the limbs? You don't feel like that should be your responsibility?
Oh, in 2014, we had to pay somebody to fix the roof, and I spoke to him then.
I need you to listen to my question. I already heard you testify to everything you're saying. What I want you to tell me is when your neighbor did not trim the branches and you want the branches trimmed, why don't you pay somebody to trim the branches? Is the answer to my question that you don't feel it's your responsibility to do that?
That's part of it, but I'm on a fixed income.
Okay.
And I can't afford it.
And now I ask a question of you. When you have a neighbor who comes up to you and says, oh, will you please do this? Is it your feeling that it's not your responsibility to do that? What is I'm just kind of trying to get behind both of your psyches on this.
That if the branches of my tree are trespassing on his roof or above his roof, I thought it was his responsibility to cure his problem.
Look, the tree originates, well, you say it originates in the alley and it grows in, but either way, let's say the tree originates on his property, it's his tree, let's say he planted it, and the tree grows, and then trees, as is their wont, goes like that, right? Because trees we don't live in Dr. Seuss land. They don't just go straight up. They go like that. A lot of people like it to be that way. So neighborhoods have this integrated look where trees are going. So the law is that you own, or you own the rights to down to the ground and up to the heavens. So if someone else's tree is going over into your yard, you have a right to cut the tree branch, but it's your responsibility to do so. It is not his. I know it feels like it's, a lot of people come here and do exactly what you're doing because it feels like it's his because it's his tree, but it's not. But if you don't want, his leaves, nature, and his leaves falling off, I think he said it best when he said, what am I supposed to do, go up on his garage? See it? What was it you said?
I had responded, would he want me to go every year and pick out my leaves?
My own leaves. Let me just go through there and
garage.
pick out my own leaves. I mean, it's just part of nature and stuff. So he can't object if you were to do that. He can't say, I'm filing a suit, you butchered my tree. No, you have the right to cut anything that is above your garage. You cut it once. You probably don't have to worry about it for another many, many years. But that responsibility falls on you. It doesn't fall on him. So I'm not going to order him to pay $5,000 for a new garage roof because it's not his responsibility under the law. Okay? Good luck. Verdicts for the defendant.
So the judge rules the defendant is not responsible for trimming that tree. Mr. Rivas, I'm sure you're not happy to hear that.
I mean, I guess that's the law, but, I'm not happy to hear it. I think the man should do the neighborly thing. His tree is destroying the neighbor next to him's fence, and it didn't start out in an alleyway because I've lived there my whole life on and off. He had an apple tree in that yard probably before he bought it, which he chopped down.
Bottom line is, according to the judge, it's not his responsibility. Well, you could say he could do it and be nice, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. If he wants to be that way, then go ahead and be that way,
Obviously he is.
Yeah. Well,
what you going to do?
I'm not going to do anything.
No?
No.
Nothing?
No. What can I do?
Trim the tree.
I don't have the money to trim the tree, and I'm disabled. I don't have the money. I'm on a fixed income.
Well, I'm sorry for
you. This guy's
sir.
making money. He should do the right thing.
Well, we'll find out what you think.
The law. He should do the right thing.
I got you. Okay. The defendant's on his way out of the court. What do you think about this? I mean, you feel sorry for him or not?
Well, I feel sorry that he's not able to care for his property.
I say he doesn't have the money to trim the tree. Could cost several $1,000s.
I'm also semi-retired.
So you're not going to trim it?
I'm not going to trim it, no.
Oh, boy. What happens now?
It's an evergreen.
Good luck. Okay.
All right.
I feel you're going to have a problem with him. Maybe other neighbors, too. Good luck to you. Sorry you feel about that way. Okay. He's not going to do the neighborly thing, Harvey. What do you think?
Okay, Doug, talked about this before. You have a right to cut encroaching branches right to the property line. You can't go on the other person's property without their permission, but you can cut away.